Early route normal type Pokemon tend to have a reputation of being bad Pokemon. You have the infamous Bidoof, which seems to be the poster child for bad Pokemon, but that is to be expected since it wouldn't really make a lot of sense to give the player such good Pokemon such early on in the game, except for an X and Y where they kind of just give you a Bulbapedia which evolves to one of the hardest hitting Pokemon out there. But I digress. Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and Pokemon Sun and Moon as well, are no exceptions, as one of the first Pokemon you encounter in the game is a Yungoos, which is the token early normal type Pokemon that you find in every game that evolves into a Gumshoos. I remember this Pokemon getting a decent amount of hype leading up to the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon, but unfortunately here we are about a year later and Gumshoos didn't really live up to the hype. So is Gumshoos the worst Pokemon in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon? Let's talk about it. If you guys are unfamiliar, I am your host PaPaSea, and in this series, take a look at some of the worst Pokemon in the game that are bad competitively, discuss their positives, their negatives, and discuss why they are so bad. Now, this isn't just a series where I objectively bash your favorite Pokemon, this is a competitive analysis of the Pokemon in competitive battles against other people. This is important to keep in mind, as if you are unfamiliar with the way competitive battling works, it is very different from battling against a gym leader or NPC in-game. Sure, a Pokemon can do really well against a gym leader, but that doesn't necessarily mean it'll do well online. We will rate Gumshoos on a scale 1 to 5 based on its offense, defense, versatility, move pool, and overall viability. If Gumshoos doesn't excel in any of these categories, then it is deemed to be a bad Pokemon and potentially the worst Pokemon ever. If you guys enjoy this series, you want to support the channel, make sure you click that like button as it does help out a ton, and make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss a future upload. So to give a brief overview on Gumshoos, it is a mono normal type Pokemon with the abilities Adaptability, Stakeout, and Strong Jaw. These are all pretty powerful abilities, as Adaptability makes its stab normal moves do 2 times damage instead of the normal 1.5 stat modifier, and Stakeout deals double damage if the opposing Pokemon switches, and this ability is part of the reason why Gumshoos was so hyped up. And last but not least, Strong Jaw boosts the power of jaw attacks such as Crunch. Gumshoos has a stat distribution of 88 HP, 110 attack, 60 defense, 55 special attack, 60 special defense, and 45 speed. These stats seem pretty okay on paper, and before we get too far into the negatives, let's discuss some of the positives that Gumshoos has first. So for the first positive, 110 attack, you really can't complain about an attack stat like that. It's not the highest, it's not amazing, but it's pretty good at 110. You can definitely do some pretty good damage on top of with the abilities that you have, because all 3 of the abilities, which is the next positive, are actually pretty decent in their own right. And the last positive is you have a pretty decent offensive move pool. It's not the greatest, it's not the widest, and it's only a physical move pool, not a good special move pool, since you only have 55 special attack, that's expected, but you do have some pretty decent options on the offensive physical attacking move pool. And now to the negatives, you are just slow. 45 speed is a pretty big hindrance on top of the fact that you have low bulk. I can't stress this enough, but if you're a frail Pokemon that's really slow, you're not going to outspeed a lot of things. You're going to be required to take a lot of hits since you don't outspeed a lot of things, and since your bulk is so low, you will not take those hits very well. Now, although Stakeout really isn't the worst ability, it's really not as good as we thought it would be. We thought Gumshoos with the Stakeout ability would actually be a pretty decent Pokemon, as it basically made any move it 1-4-8 pursuit if they switched out. The problem with this though is Gumshoos really isn't an intimidating Pokemon at all, so you have virtually no reason to switch on this thing at all, and if you do see a Gumshoos, you know that there's the possibility that it'll have the ability Stakeout, so you won't want to switch out knowing you will take more damage. It's not the worst ability, it's an okay ability, but out of the other abilities that it has, I would say Stakeout is the worst. And last but not least, you are outclassed by other normal type Pokemon. There are so many Pokemon that are very similar to Gumshoos, like Stoutland, which has the same attack stat, higher bulk, and higher speed, and it's a very comparable Pokemon. It's a normal type as well, it's a physical attacker with, like I said, 110 attack as well. There's really no reason to use Gumshoos over Stoutland. So for Smogon's recommended set here, we have Gumshoos with the Choice Band. The ability can be Stakeout or Adaptability, whatever you prefer. Max attack, max speed, adamant nature, Return, Earthquake, Crunch, and Facade. Now, this set is not the worst set in the world. I personally would recommend running a bulkier set with max HP, since with 45 speed, you're really not going to outspeed much at all, if anything. So having that speed investment is kind of a waste. You can also change the item from a Choice Band to basically anything else. You could put a Citrus Berry on there if you really want. I've actually seen that before, which is kind of weird. You can put Leftovers, you can put Life Orb, you can put X-Rail. It doesn't really matter too much. Either way, though, the best thing you could do with this Pokemon is just give it an Adamant Nature with 4 attacks. Facade is great because because if you get burned, you can still go for some good damage with your 110 attack. Crunch is good if you're on Strong Jaw because it gets boosted by Strong Jaw. Earthquake is just a good move, and then Return, of course, is Stab. That's very well with Adaptability because your Adaptability boosts your stab moves like Return. And now on to the ratings. For offense, I will give Gumshoos a 3 out of 5. 110 attack is pretty good on top of the fact that all 3 of your abilities assist you offensively. The speed does hinder you a lot, however, as you will most likely have to take a hit from pretty much anything before you can hit them. And this is a serious problem because Gumshoos is even slower than most bulky wall Pokemon, which gives them an opportunity to either hit you with an offensive move or go for some sort of setup move like a Calm Mind or a Toxic or a Roost, something like that, while you just sit there and do nothing. For defense, I will give Gumshoos a 1 out of 5. Although 88 HP really isn't that bad, and normal type means it's only weak to one type being fighting and immune to ghost typing, 60 in both defenses just doesn't cut it. You will be two-shotted by most things, which other similar Pokemon like Stoutland will be able to take better due to its higher bulk. And again, I can't stress this enough, Stoutland just completely outclasses Gumshoos. For versatility, I will give Gumshoos a 2 out of 5. Now, Gumshoos really isn't all that versatile, but it does have multiple usable abilities which add to its versatility. You could run an adaptability set, which makes moves like Facade and Return do more damage, or a Strong Jaw set, which gives your jaw moves better coverage. If you really want to, Stakeout isn't a horrible option, but in my opinion, it's the worst of the 3. Now, like I said, there really aren't too many options, but there's enough options here to warrant a 2 in versatility as opposed to a 1. For Movepool, I would give Gumshoos a 2.5 out of 5. Now, Gumshoos Movepool really isn't all that bad. I'd say it's around an average offensive Movepool. You do have access to Crunch, Earthquake, U-Turn, Taunt, and Super Fang, which are all pretty decent moves. Again, it's not the best, but I wouldn't call its Movepool horrible. And for viability, I will give Gumshoos a 1 out of 5. Unfortunately, Gumshoos just really isn't that viable. Its unique ability Stakeout is pretty neat, but it's really not that great since it's so easy to play around, since you don't really have much of a reason to switch out on a Gumshoos since it's so weak and frail. It's also outclassed entirely by Stoutland, which I've mentioned multiple times, but I can't stress that enough. When you have a Pokemon that is completely outclassed by another Pokemon that's so similar to it, it just makes the other Pokemon worthless. Gumshoos and Stoutland are even in the same tier as of the Sun and Moon metagame, so there's really no reason to use Gumshoos at all over Stoutland. And for some improvements, I would give Gumshoos better coverage. Now, this did help a little bit with the release of Ultra and Ultra Moon, which is nice, but I do still think it could be a little bit better. Better bulk will also help this out a lot. Since you are so frail and so slow, you won't be able to take many hits, but if you have that better bulk, you can at least take some hits, run max HP in your Gumshoos, and then go for some strong attacks with your adaptability and your 110 attack stat. And of course, better speed would be nice. Even something that's not much higher, even like 65 or 70 speed would be nice because it would allow you to outspeed bulkier Pokemon. It would allow you to speed tie some bulky Pokemon as well. I think 75 speed would be perfect for this Pokemon, as it wouldn't necessarily make it a fast Pokemon, but it would make it fast enough to be an okay bulky attacking Pokemon. Again, it would still probably be PU, but it would be better. And that is Gumshoos. Let me know what you guys think of Gumshoos in the comment section down below. Personally, I think it's a cool little niche Pokemon that you can run for fun in your playthroughs of your Pokemon games, but outside of that, is outclassed by a lot of things and really just not worth using in a competitive setting. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day. I will see you guys next time, and bye-bye.